Okay, so you need to put your statistics together. At the moment you've got one here and then you've got more footage and then another statistic. It doesn't make sense. It needs to have just talking and then the statistics.
To improve on this, we put the statistics together one after the other in the middle of our news package just to break it up.
Your news package at the moment, it's just got too many different things. It's talking about accidents, and then it's talking about insurance, and then it's talking about distracted drivers, and then it's talking about the cost of fuel. It just needs to have one regular theme. So if you're just talking about accidents, that's what your expert needs to talk about. That's what, you know, anyone else you speak to. It's just, otherwise it's just going in too many different directions.
From receiving this feedback, we made sure that whenever we completed any interviews or any research, it was to do with accidents with young drivers.
Your interview at the moment is just, it's too shaky and it's too dark where it is.
What do you find most challenging?
With our interview with Sophia, it was quite shaky, so what we did was to stabilise it in iMovie, which made it a lot more professional.
During your vox pops, first of all they need to be in a public place and something that looks kind of related to what you're doing. So it needs to be in, you know, an order of, and also it needs to be choppy, the editing, rather than just people talking for a really long time.
To improve on this, we refilmed our vox pops where we asked them all the same question and we cut between them all, answering the same question one after the other. We also made the effort to film the vox pops in more crowded places. We drove to a busy street and we filmed them all there or in a car park.
And then I would get some footage of learn a car and driving and get an interview with a driver.
To make our interviews more relevant, we did manage to get footage of a driving instructor and the learner car, which added a certain amount of professionalism to our work as well.
And then in the opening sequence, your opening, you need to use your own footage rather than found footage because you'll get better marks if you've got your own footage. Okay.
To improve our opening sequence, we received a GoPro, which we attached to a bus in the busy streets of London and a car on the quiet streets of the countryside. This meant that we had our own footage, which we were able to speed up and manipulate, and it also meant that we had a range of streets to work with. Okay, go.
Couldn't hear you that well at the beginning, but fair enough, I can hear you.
1 in 5 of 16-year-old drivers has an accident within their first year of driving. This graph represents the number
It's good that there's a black background because everything stands out, and that there's easy pictures and graphs. 13 to 19-year-olds in 2010 occurred in motor vehicle crashes.
40% of all teenage car crashes occur between the times of 9 p.m. to 6 a.m.
That's interesting.
We spoke to the new driver regarding how she feels about getting onto the road by herself.
What do you find most challenging about being a new driver?
I find most challenging
it's in a relatable setting.
Canteen. Did you think owning a car would be as expensive as it is?
I thought it'd be cheaper than it is, but I found insurance came out really, really expensive and I managed to like the car better.
There's an increased number of cars on the road.
The wind. Yeah, the wind.
Therefore, young drivers need to be safe first getting on the road.
We spoke to driving instructor Ali Johnson, and he told us what young
it's that's very interesting because they're talking about the thread of the tire.
They are aware of what's happening around them, but they cannot anticipate. They cannot and some of them are quite stubborn as well, right? And they do not want to listen because they think that their parents have been driving, right? And driving is very easy, especially for the boys. And they think too much of themselves, and then they could make mistakes.
We asked 3 young drivers.
I like the scene of him driving away, like it looks very natural.
What do you think is the most dangerous aspect of driving?
Other dangerous drivers coming across your lane at roundabouts. I think when people play down the road and aren't aware.
Young, reckless drivers, people kind of make it difficult. Those people who just drive Seen a snow.
Do you think the driving age should be raised?
Yes.
No, because generally most people are sort of responsible at 17. No, I think 17 is a good age to drive.
I think it should be revised. I think it should be made a bit older. You know, some of the younger generation.
I think the question should have been in titles as well and stay on the page throughout all of the responses. And then when the question changed,
about being the new driver?
The title changed.
Solo driver on the motorways. Being by myself and not having someone who can brake for me.
Did you crash in your first year of driving?
No, I'm quite a responsible driver, and I do take my time with things. I don't really rush around.
So young drivers, please remember to remain safe on the roads. That is all. CLSR News.
That's a good video. Yeah, it's nice. It's nice.
Safety on the roads, it was like statistics and then asking individuals if they, like their views on the statistics and if they found that they were true in their driving lives.
It's about safe drivings and reckless people on the road at the moment.
It was talking about young drivers and,
safety on the roads.
Safety on the roads mainly, and about how young drivers are the most prone to accidents because of how they naturally they want to drive fast and they want to,
show off.
Yeah, show off pretty much.
Awareness and having it come from children, from teenagers who are actually at the age that the people watching it can relate to, I think makes it closer to home.
To try and advise young people to be more careful on the roads.
It's basically, I believe this program is made for very young drivers and for them to understand what goes on our roads in Britain.
I guess we was trying to kind of promote that message of being safe on the road while being kind of cool and informal about it, so it didn't come across as cheesy or too preachy. Just a kind of a well-meant message.
Yeah.
The range of people you asked, I thought it was clever to ask an actual driving instructor and then have that up against like new learning drivers.
I thought it was really short and snappy. Every single scene wasn't too long, it didn't drag. Each statistic was done differently, so it kept your attention span and it got the message across.
It was surprisingly cohesive. It was, one point was made, it was explained. Had a nice appearance from a driving instructor as well, so it shows. And the news team took it seriously. They wanted to kind of get an actual opinion rather than forming their own.
Maybe talking to people who have been driving for like a few years and asking how they felt their driving has compared to now. Maybe saying, "Oh, looking back, like I thought, like what they think, how their driving compares to when they first started, and their views on that and their perceptions."
I think definitely a mic needed to be used because there was too much wind and outside environment noises. So to make it look more professional, a mic should have been used. And I think better use of titling as well, just to clarify to the viewer what is being asked, even though the person on the camera had already asked the question, just to keep it fresh in their minds throughout all the people speaking. So those three people, keep that title there throughout all three of them, so you know the question they're addressing.
I guess maybe some more maybe a few more varied animations, I guess. A few more stylish transitions in there.
Some places sound could have been a bit clearer.
Yeah.
But
otherwise it
was a really good video. Yeah.
Yeah, the editing was really good. I think it comes back to the point I made before, where everything was short and snappy. There was no fuzzy transitions. Everything was really well put together. Everything was in sync.
I thought the editing was absolutely perfect. I like the way the usage of the actual person who was like an instructor. I like the usage of the terminology which was used throughout the programs, and it always reflected on the the issues you were addressing. So I thought the editing was perfect, very good.
That was quite smooth, yeah. Everything cut nicely, there was no like pauses, everything was crisp and sharp.
There was literally one frame where it went to black and then continued, but that was the only kind of anomaly I'd seen, so it was pretty good. Wedding was pretty spot on, yeah.
The quality was okay, some of it was a bit fuzzy, but apart from that it was perfect.
It was okay. It wasn't amazing. I think the quality could have been better. Probably a better camera, I guess, being used. But yeah, I guess that's just because camcorders were used.
Well, being a videographer myself, as you said, I do feel that there could have been some improvements, especially when you are sort of trying to create an impact. I felt that the first day sequence was really fantastic, but something like that could have been added on a little bit more.
It was quite holiday picture as well.
Yeah.
Quite high. Sound was alright in places.
Yeah, the shots worked. It fit the purpose.
The sound was good for most of it. Sometimes it was a bit quiet, but I still got to hear everything and it was really informative.
Yeah, I thought it was good. Nothing was like too overpowering, like the street noise wasn't overpowering your voice or anything like that, so I thought it was good.
Sound, the dubbing was good because obviously the voice was very clear and crisp, but obviously like I said already, the voice of the people being interviewed wasn't great because there was too much noise in the background.
The sound was okay, but I felt that the presenter could not be heard very clearly. Well, I felt that you needed to have a better wireless audio system which is attached to the camera in order to capture the sound in its entirety.
The song, the little jingle in the background, it matched nicely because it kept that kind of mild tone, but it helped emphasize the dangers of the road, kept you engaged.
Yes.
Yes, it looks like a whole load of hard work has been put in. It looks like there's been very close attention to detail, good scripting. It looks like it's been planned thoroughly before it was filmed.
I felt it was very, very good. If I were to give marks out of 100, I would probably give 80.
Yeah, surprisingly. I mean, I thought it was going to be a bit mishmash, but it was, there was some good locations used, even at the beginning where it's that kind of time lapse through central London. I was impressed by that.
It looked like it took a bit of time to make rather than like it took one day.
Yeah. You can tell that there was
different backgrounds, different scenarios, different people. That's important.
Hi, I'm Ria from CLSR News. I'm the one who organised the audience feedback, and here are some improvements that we can make upon our news package if we were to ever do it again. Number 1. Fuzzy shots. We need to improve on the fuzzy shots. It wasn't really our fault. There were some camera issues. However, in the future we could use a better camera, work in HD. There's endless possibilities. Number 2. More range of interviews. We only interviewed a young driver and a driving instructor. We could have interviewed some older drivers on their opinions on young drivers and really just generalised it a bit more. Number 3, improve on sound. This could be easily done. You can buy wireless microphones that can attach to your camera. They're really cheap to buy online, so in the future I would invest in that so you can't hear the outside sound a lot and the voice is a lot more clear. Number 4, better use of titling. During our vox pops and during our interviews we didn't actually write down on screen what the questions were. I feel like if we wrote them down and played them all the way throughout all of the interviews, it would have made it a lot more easier to understand if somebody had actually missed the question. Number 5, varied use of animations and transitions. This is purely to make our news package more endearing and more exciting to watch by the audience. With the varied use of animations, we could have added some animations whilst people were interviewing, so it could show what they were saying and make it more exciting to watch. With the transitions, rather than just cutting from scene to scene, we could have had some cool transitions, maybe a fade in and a fade out, just to make our news package just more eye-friendly. There were a lot of improvements to be made. However, in general, people did seem to enjoy our news package, and it was a lot of fun to make.